We are back, Muench. We are back. It is day 2 of workouts at the 2025 NFL Combine. 55 days left until the NFL draft. Muench, you good?
I'm great, man.
All right, good, because we got to get into this thing.
Big day.
We got a lot going on. We moved sets. Thankfully, finally, I want to give a special thank you to Nick and Jake, our camera folks extraordinaire, who have traveled with us from California to Mobile, Alabama, back to California with all their other duties, and here now in Indianapolis. They moved us over from Radio Row. I'm done with that. I'm done with it.
Different vibes.
No, we're not going to be there next year. Like, it's great, and everyone can have fun with it, but, like, this is us.
Right.
And I also want to give a special thanks to Tucker and to Dan, who helped run all of this, our producers extraordinaire who have been, boots on the ground making all of this stuff happen, and also a thank you to the Intercontinental Hotel. We stumbled upon this place. I know no one wants to hear this story, but you're going to have to listen for 30 seconds. We stumbled upon this place. We were supposed to go to one hotel. They didn't have rooms for us. A team showed up from the NBA. They decided they were going to, bump us out. It was like 6 o'clock at night, so we're walking around. We got to go to the bathroom. We come into the bathroom here at this hotel, the Intercontinental. Like, this is nice. Mm-hmm. Let's see if they got rooms here. We changed over. They opened up a week ago, folks. If you're in Indianapolis, come and check this place out. It's a wonderful spot. We've had unbelievable service, and they've helped us. They've been open for 1 week, and they've got this beautiful room for us. And now we're going to do our show here tonight live. We push it back to 8 o'clock. Too many workouts, too much going on. We were scrambling last night, so we've made adjustments. It's a better show. It fits us better. And we just, we're very thankful for everyone here, including Shough, who served us lunch today and is a wonderful woman. And it just got me thinking. It was a perfect transition to Shough Barron. Had a really good day today, too. So here we go. Oh, man, did we need fireworks. Let's just call it what it was. We're excited about it. There were some good things to talk about yesterday with the defensive line workouts, the interior and the edges. And we're so excited because these classes, a historically good group for interior defensive linemen, probably the best since 1992. Great edge talent, but a lot of the top players did not work out. And there was it just didn't live up to the hype. So we needed some fireworks today, and oh my gosh, did we get it. 2 players, to me, stole the show. First of all, Nick Emmanwori from South Carolina, your guy. And secondly, Maxwell Hairston, the cornerback from Kentucky. We've so much to unpack. And there were a whole host of other great players that worked out. But there's a lot that the trickle-down effect of this at the top of the board at both of the positions in the first round. This is going to get interesting now. Nick Emmanwori, I got a phone call from my guy Muench in August. I'm talking about, I don't know where we're going to work this year. I've interviewed with, we've had conversation with 9 different places. We got to figure it out how we're going to make it all work. And he's like, yeah, but you got to watch this safety. Nick Emmanwori. And I don't even think we were pronouncing it right at that point, from South Carolina. And I'm like, man, fine, okay. And I popped in the tape, and there's a lot to like. We can get into who he is as a player. Tell me what he did tonight that absolutely, like Indianapolis is buzzing over what just happened.
We knew it was coming. I mean, we knew this guy was going to have a big workout.
Yeah, but not like
this. Yeah. Though. So he's 6'3", 220 pounds, 32 1/4 inch arms. Put that into a little bit of perspective. 31 1/2 inches is what you're looking for. So that's longer, obviously, 32 1/4. Then he runs a 4.38 40-yard dash.
Oh.
Has an 11-foot, 6-inch broad jump, and then it has a 43-inch vertical. Those are outrageous numbers for any defensive back, let alone a guy that's 6'3", 220 pounds. And everyone's trying to come up with these comps. Who are the other safeties that he compares to? And NFL Network came up with DK Metcalf, the receiver from Seattle. That's how athletic this guy is. And when you look at it, DK Metcalf was 6'3", 228 pounds, 40 1/2 inch vertical, and a 4.33 40-yard dash. That's how athletic this kid is.
And you start to like look at it and comparatively, like the RAS score, right? The RAS score, which basically takes all of your measurables and puts it into an athletic grade. I thought this was amazing. You go back, right? It's out of a 10.0. His RAS score was a perfect 10 point. I think it's 10.0, right?
Yes.
10.0. Perfect 10.0. I can't remember. Like, there have been a couple guys, but there have been 1,079 strong safeties dating back to 1987, Muench. 1987, all the way through this year, 2025, including everyone who worked out today. He has the number 1 RAS score. Like, think about that.
Yeah.
Of all the strong safeties who have ever worked out here, okay? Did you mention the best vertical jump by anyone over 200 pounds ever?
I did not put that in perspective, no. I just gave the number, yeah.
The vertical jump of 43 inches is the best of any player at the combine over 200 pounds. So we've had like 197-pound guys, some receivers, some corners, sub 200. And by the way, he's 220. Like, if you didn't watch it, when you're done with the show in about an hour or so, and knowing me, it'll be like an hour and a half. I get it. Make all the jokes. Everyone's smirking in the background. I see you, Tucker and Dan and Jake and Nick. But you got to watch to watch someone with that length and that height at 220 pounds. That's like a will linebacker, buddy.
Right. To get off the ground.
To get off the ground, to be able to generate power from the ground up. And it's just fascinating to me. When I said to you in the beginning, like we've quite literally like never seen what we saw today. That's what I mean. And our RAS score, that the best since going back since they started this in 1983 or 1987. It was phenomenal.
I think he would have been a 10 at most positions, by the way, not just safety, at corner, wide receiver. He would have graded.
Yes.
I mean, absurdly high, and no matter which way you wanted to grade him out, regardless of the position.
Okay. A couple things I want to get to here, specifically with Emmanwori and the safety class and this draft. First of all, Malachi Starks is a damn good football player, right? The Georgia safety. Most people mocked him as the first safety off the board, first round. Didn't have the best season this past year. But if you really go back and study his tape, there was some hero ball here and there. He gambled and had some ugly plays that jumped out. But he's instinctive, well-packed. He'll fill the alley versus the run. Just like an all-around really, really good football player. I think I saw the comparison today. Jesse Bates. Like, I'm cool with that.
Yep.
Ball skills, complete player, will support the run, very good in coverage, can play zone. I remember going back to my report. It's popping back in my head now. Like, not many guys move like he moves, can cover in man and can cover in zone the way he does. And like these are special guys.
Right.
But you wake up this morning, right, and you're Malachi Starks, and you've been considered a top 40 pick this entire process. And quite frankly, like if you looked at like rankings and mock drafts, like kind of a top 15 guy for a long time until this season didn't go exactly as planned. But you wake up this morning, you're like, yeah, I'm 6'1", I'm 197, I'm a safety, right? It's tough when the other guy, though, is 2.5 inches taller than you, weighs 23 more pounds, has an inch longer arm length, which is very important at the defensive back spot, and jumps 10 inches higher than you, and runs a 4.38 to your 4.50. Think about that. Like, you don't draft on measurables, right?
Right.
But you do draft on potential and traits and tape combined with that. So I'm going to say this. I think you go back and look at a lot of mock drafts. I told you, I don't travel and do games. Like I peek around a little bit more just to kind of get a sense. I won't look at yours, Kuiper, though. I won't. You're getting a call. We still owe him a call. But look at most mock drafts. Look at people talking about out there. You don't look at my mock draft. Get the newsletter, by the way. Google it, the McShay report. First mock draft just came out. We're going to put up another one shortly after the combine because we got to update things because things are going to change. And one of the things that's going to change is Nick Emmanwori. I didn't put him in the first round. I listed in the top of the thing guys that probably should have been or very easily could have been, but were not in this first mock draft. And Emmanwori was right at the top of that list. He's going to be in the next one. Mm-hmm. When mock 2.0 comes out, he's going to be in the next one. I took a peek today because I just can't help myself. There's a range now that I think is a possibility. And I'm not saying it's definitely going to be one of these teams, but there's kind of a range of teams that I'm looking at now. 14 being maybe the highest.
Wow.
But we're talking The Colts at 14 now, like,
They're in play, huh?
I think potentially. I'm not saying it's definitely going to happen, but like I think the conversation starts when you get to that middle first round range. 18 Minnesota, 24 Seattle, Buffalo 30, Eagles 32. Like he's going to be in the first round. You don't have those kind of traits combined with really good tape, not perfect tape, really good tape. And that, let's transition to that. And we have so much else to get to. I don't want to do a 30-minute show on Emmanwori, but from a tape perspective, and I told you, I think there's some miscommunication. Mm-hmm. I don't know that he's always prepared pre-snap sometimes. There was miscommunication in the bowl game about him playing in the second half of the game. I guess there's some issues that scouts have tried to like figure out what's going on with that. And he didn't do, I should mention, and it's smart. Like agents oftentimes don't give good advice, but you go out and put up these numbers, and you're a straight line explosive guy, and you're that tall. You're probably not going to look as good as the 5'9", 5'11" safeties when it comes to like the box drill and the change of direction stuff that they ask you in position drills. So he didn't do that here. But on tape, while he's not perfect and there are some flaws, what is it that stood out to you dating back to August? That you just really thought that this guy had a chance to be a first round pick?
So if I come into your office and you're the GM and I'm a scout and you say to me, GMs aren't interested in hearing what a player can't do. They want to know what a player can do. And if you're the GM and you say to me, what can he do? I say everything. He is versatile. I almost don't like the way they used him a little bit this year. They played him in the box. They've always played him in the box. Don't get me wrong. He plays in the box a lot. At that size, he can get off blocks. He's tough. He's good against the run. All of those things. I like him over the slot. I like playing him high. He's a 4.38 guy. I know he's 6'3", 220. And it was wild to me that there was some talk about him maybe moving to linebacker. That makes zero sense to me. This guy's a safety all day, every day. He can play over the slot. He can play high. He can play in the box. He can match up with tight ends. He can play zone. I think he's got outrageous ball skills. Is there some concerns on tape? Sure, I'll give you that. I thought he missed some tackles this year that I was a little bit surprised by. There are some issues on tape. No one is completely clean. But if you're asking me what are his abilities and what can he do, the answer is everything.
Yeah. I just love the versatility. I love, he's not Kyle Hamilton. I like Kyle Hamilton's tape was brilliant, but Kyle Hamilton didn't run that well.
No.
Cam Chancellor, I actually think he's a better athlete because I saw that comp today coming up on NFL Network. And I get it, like the height, weight, speed, length, all that stuff. But with Cam Chancellor, Cam Chancellor was going to knock your you-know-what off. And he was great coming downhill and all of those things. And he was a ball hawk. He made some big plays. But I think with this guy, you get a more fluid athlete. I think you get some more cover flexibility. Right. I really do. And yeah, I agree with you. Like, so when you walk into the GM's office, it's how's he going to succeed, right?
Right.
And I've always talked about this because I talk to a lot of GMs. The next thing they want to know is, how's it not going to work? How's it going to fail? Okay. And I think putting play on words, but like putting him in a box where you just make him one thing, and part of that being like too much in the box,
right?
In terms of like up close to the line of scrimmage, might be the way. If we don't play him properly and utilize him properly, and maybe develop him and allow him to start doing these things, but then expand his role. Like Kyle Hamilton's role has changed over time,
right?
So it's going to be fascinating to see where he goes.
By the way, he will turn the ball over, and then he is a threat when he gets the ball in his hands. He had 2 pick sixes this year. He is a danger to go the other way every single time he gets his hands on the ball.
I want to thank everyone. By the way, I didn't thank everyone off the top. If you're joining us live right now, is the Combine workouts. We've got it on the background here. This is like the best studio we've ever had.
Yeah.
They're going to have to peel my ass out of this place. All right? I'm telling you, on Sunday morning, like I don't want to go. I think I found a second home in Indy. But I want to thank everyone because I'm just looking down. We've got the live chat going on. We got How We Are Bears and Thomas H. and Joe Terzio. Like, thank you for everyone. And we'll get to some of these questions today. I feel like it's been a minute since we did the live shows. We did one yesterday. We were scrambling, too many numbers. But we'll get to some questions and some comments as the show goes on. So stick with us. We appreciate you being here. All right, I mentioned Emmanwori
Yep.
absolutely stole the show. But at the cornerback position, there was a guy that we knew was going to work out well, but I didn't think I don't think that I quite knew the level that we were going to see from our boy Hairston, right? Maxwell Hairston from Kentucky. And I should mention this. Some of the top corners did not work out, okay? And Travis Hunter, like, I'm not going to bang a drum here. Travis Hunter's Travis Hunter. He's generational talent. We've never seen anything like it. But I do find it funny that, like, we spent all this time and all this media, and it's on the media as much as it is on I guess, the information coming out. But it was like this big deal that Travis Hunter had decided to play cornerback and then would do some wide receiver position drills. He didn't do a damn thing.
No.
He didn't do a damn thing here. So
Which is okay, but
what
was the point?
Yeah, what's the point, right? What's the point? So he didn't do anything. Will Johnson, the cornerback from Michigan, did not work out. Jahdae Barron, we're going to get to him. He was limited in what he did, but what he did, he knocked it out. Benjamin Morrison gets a pass, obviously. He's got the hip injury coming off the season. Savone Revel, the cornerback from East Carolina, who I'm in love with.
I think he would have lit it up if he could have gone there.
And I'm going to get to him in a little bit as well, but did not participate because of coming off the ACL. So a lot of guys didn't work today, but it still was an awesome showing. Because
it was a great day.
It was a great day. Maxwell Hairston, he's a zone cover corner for Kentucky. Great when the ball's in the air, confidence that he exudes. He just, like, some guys are magnets to the football. He's one of them. Listen to this. 5'11" and a quarter, 183 pounds. So you're like, yeah, so what, McShay? You know? Yes, he's kind of slightly undersized, or I would say average. That's about average, right?
He's a little small.
A little bit small, a little bit lean, right? He ran a 4.28, folks. This guy came out and ran a 4.28 official time in the 40-yard dash. He hit 24.25 miles per hour. That's the 5th fastest of any player at any position in the combine in the last 3 years, okay? He also, as a little guy, 39.5-inch vertical and 10.9 broad. Both were second best in the entire cornerback class. So you talk about coming out and just sending a message. Mm-hmm. All right, Travis. All right, Will. All right, Benjamin. All right, Savone. You guys aren't working out for various reasons, and I'm not catching you, but I'm going to let every other team in the NFL know that, like, I'm the other guy.
Right.
You know, because there's a competition here, truly. And I've talked about this before. This cornerback class, you can kind of, like, break into two groups. One being, like, the press man guys, the guys who hold up well in press man-to-man coverage or any kind of man-to-man coverage primarily over their career, and that's how they project. And then there's another group of guys that are the zone cover guys. And in that group, Jahdae Barron, who can do a little both.
Yeah.
But has played primarily zone and excels in that because of his instincts. Behind him, I've got Benjamin Morrison from Notre Dame, who's 6 foot. He checked in at just over 6 foot, 193 pounds, shorter arms, no red flags, but obviously didn't work out because of the hip. And then it's Hairston. So now I'm looking at Hairston. I'm like, well, he's not that much shorter than Morrison. He's 10 pounds lighter, but he'd probably play close to 190. And he just ran a 4.28. And he just jumped almost 40 inches.
You just give him 7 pounds? You think he's going to play at 190?
I think he could. Yeah, I mean, did you? Well, you actually did lose weight later, but you're an offensive lineman. But I don't know many athletes that get into the NFL and don't put on weight. Okay. Truly.
Okay.
Truly. Okay, fine. 180. What is it?
No. If you believe that, believe that.
I think he'll get to close to 190. Yeah. He'll wind up playing at about 190.
That's good. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. What did you see from Hairston?
It matches up what I saw on tape, which is the great part about it, right? We watched tape on him together, I believe, and he is, or no, we texted each other after. We watched him around the same time. Lightning quick on tape, man. I know he's a zone guy. I think he's got some man traits. He's so fast, so quick, gets in and out of breaks. He doesn't have big hands. You know, he has smaller hands, but for a guy with smaller hands, he plays the ball well. You see him on tape. One of the ways that he uses that speed is to break on passes in front of him, jump routes, and like we were talking about Emmanwori, take it the other way. He's another guy who's a playmaker when the ball's in the air.
Yeah, I just finished up his evaluation, and I want to get to a couple things on it. I know this is great television, but I don't care. Hairston. You look at, he had 6 interceptions, 10 pass breakups, right? Mm-hmm. And forced 3 fumbles. He had tied a school record, too, for the most pick sixes with 3. Excels in zone coverage, nearly 400 snaps last year in cover 3 or cover 4. Ability to play outside and in the slot. He's been highly effective in the slot, but he can play both sides. The ball production was awesome. Fast eyes, smaller hands, as you said. Not a good tackler. That's going to be the big thing that shows up, and it's going to be frustrating.
Right.
I gave him a 4 in our rating scale. 1 is outstanding, 2 is above average, good. 3 is average, 4 is below average, and it's concern.
Can I get into that just really quickly?
Yeah, please.
He had a shoulder injury this year, and he had 55 solo tackles the year before. And so when I saw that, I thought to myself, well, maybe I need to dig a little bit deeper. Maybe I need to go back to the 2023 tape. And I did. And what I saw a lot of was him running guys out of bounds, and you get a tackle there. And it's, to me, I know that number's 55 solo tackles is a good number for a corner. I saw that number. I went back. I still have concerns about him as a run defender.
Yeah, I kind of saw some Casey Hayward, remember back in the day,
Yeah.
or like Jason Verrett, like slot corners, ball hawks, just find a way to the
ball
football.
magnets,
Yeah,
guys
ball
who just
magnets.
somehow the ball finds
But
them.
now that I know he has these traits, that adds to it. As a zone cover corner, there's more you can do and develop. So, I don't know. I thought Harrison. I just think he's going to be a number 3 starting corner as a rookie. He's too instinctive. He's too fast. He's got too good of ball skills not to be a consistent player on the field. And I think he can develop into a number 2 role.
Top 50 guy, probably.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. This cornerback, like Travis Hunter, is going to be one of the top 3 picks.
Right.
Somewhere high. Jahdae Barron, to me, is one of the top 10 players in this entire class. We're going to get to him in about 20 seconds. Will Johnson, I told you, the tape was frustrating because there were a lot of great plays and there were a lot of really bad plays for a guy who's going to be a top 15, top 20 pick. But then, as I said, there's a competition that is kind of taking place between now and through the pro days and leading up to the draft. And it will have something to do with medical, behind the scenes. What's the information on the hip for Benjamin Morrison? What's the information on the ACL for Savon Revel from East Carolina? A.Z. Thomas, cornerback from Florida State, had a good day, looked good in position drills.
He looked really good on the field. Didn't
run a 40. Had a 10-2 broad jump. It was kind of a weird day. Did
the
field stuff, did a broad jump, didn't do a vertical, didn't do the runs, didn't do the 40. But they're kind of in a I think A.Z. Thomas at 6'1.5", 197, 32 and 3/8 inches arms. If he winds up running, he's not going to run a 4.28.
Right.
God only gives us so many. But if he runs in low 4.4s, then I think the tape, you look at it like this guy's an outside press man corner, right? Versus Hairston, who's a slot zone guy who can do some matchup one-on-one stuff. He's going to get me the ball more probably, but not a ton more. Whereas Thomas can provide something different in terms of the outside press man that he does. So that competition just got a little bit more interesting, even though they're all different cats, right?
Right.
Zone, man, all that. But I think when you start to look at that, I don't know, picks 28 to 40, 45, I think all those names are going to come off the board. And Hairston, to me, just kind of stamped it, right? Other corners that stood out. We'll go through the corners here, and then we'll get to some of the other safeties that stood out, right?
We've got to talk about your guy.
Let me also mention this before anyone goes anywhere, okay? And I see you. I love the fact we just got this chat rolling and everyone's getting involved. The live chat. We got 376 messages. We just kicked things off. Shop Keys telling me that Darian Porter is him and he ran a 4.30. We're gonna get to him, Shop Keys.
Trust me.
We're gonna get to him.
I can't wait to talk about him.
You're feeling it. But I want to tell everyone this. This is important. Tyler Shough, the surprise of our entire show. The McShay Show began on October 22nd, okay?
Yeah.
2024. The most positive surprise that we've had to date. And we've interviewed 3 general managers. We've been to the Senior Bowl. We've been here. We've done live shows. We've had Herb Street on. We've had Joel Klatt, Pollock, the whole gang, right? The most pleasant and wonderful surprise of this show so far, at least for me.
I think you were underselling it. It was better than pleasant, and it was just an unreal conversation.
It was enlightening.
With a great
It was
human
enlightening.
being.
And honest to God, after talking to him for about 45 minutes today, and I'm not one of those guys. Like I've interviewed plenty of people, and like it's been really nice and friendly. And when I'm done, I'm like, I'm worried about that guy, or I'm not sure, or I don't know either way. Tyler Shough was awesome because he showed wisdom, and he's been through it, man. 3 injuries at Louisville. He has been through the wars. He thought his career was over like twice.
Right.
He was carted off the field, he told us today. And I'm not going to give any more about this interview. He carted off the field and thought his leg was detached from it. Like he didn't know if he was ever going to play football again.
He said walk again.
So he's like, yeah, man, I'm here. I'm throwing. I'm I'll whatever you guys want. Like I'm just blessed to be. But it was more than that. Like the amount of like depth and the interesting answers. I said it when we got in the car driving back. It was the most interesting interview that I've ever been a part of, and I've talked to Hall of Famers. I've done all of it. Like I've been very fortunate to do all of it because there was an insight in this young man that I hadn't seen before. Talking to all these quarterbacks coming out, like truly, like it was awesome. So if you're watching now on YouTube, when the show's over, right when the show's over, we're gonna throw it up on the homepage, on the YouTube homepage, right? McShay Show homepage, where you can watch it at around 9 p.m. It's gonna be there. And then if you're watching or listening on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts, just stay here, okay? Just stay here at the end of the show. We'll run the Tyler Shough interview, the Louisville quarterback, who, by the way, with Cam Ward not throwing, Shedeur Sanders not throwing, right? And in a class where those are the 2 at the top, everyone says. But I told you, his tape this year is every bit as good as those other guys. I promise you. It's 1 year, it's 3 injuries, but it's his first full year as a starter, healthy. And so if that's what's to come in the future, he could be the absolute surprise of this year's draft. And you maybe get him in the 2nd round. So that's coming up at the end of the show. Other cornerbacks.
Don't leave him waiting. Go into Porter. Or did you talk about Jade yet?
Porter.
You want to go to Porter?
Fine, I'll give you Jade.
Yeah.
Jade ran a 4.39. I said, I don't see the speed, like the elite speed. I thought he was going to be around a 4.5. I was worried. I've said all along, Brian Branch, right? Not identical, but like similar type situation. What is he? Is he a nickel? Is he a safety? Is he a corner? The measurables aren't great. Jade shows up here in Indy. It's 5'5", 106, 5'10" and 3/4 inches. Like, here we go again. 194. Okay, but like 29 and 5/8 inch arms.
I was wondering if you could bring it up.
Yeah, you texted me. I had to run out and grab something. And
That
I
was
like,
disappointing.
and I said to myself, that was this morning because the measurables came in. We got I forwarded you the list from an NFL team of all the measurables from the corner. So we got it by position. And then you read through it as I was out running errands. And you said 29 and 5/8 inches. And I was like, here we go. I literally just planted the flag on the first day here at the Combine on Jade Barron. And now it's like, yeah, he's 5'10" and a half and 29 and 5/8 inch arms, which is concerning. It's a red flag for defensive backs. And I'm like, yeah, now he's probably going to run a 4.52 or something, and we're going to have to try to explain away because you can't draft a guy with short arms and no speed, right?
Right.
Where I'm talking
no matter
about
how good the
drafting
tape
him
is, yeah.
in the top 15 of this class. But then he runs a 4.39, and it's like it doesn't make up for all the sins. Like those are still red flags.
But can I say something about that?
Yes.
We kind of hinted about it with Will Johnson. We talked about this, I think, last night, where you had some concerns about Will Johnson and not making plays at the end. And I said to you, whenever you say that to me or whenever I see it, I immediately jump to length. And Will Johnson had shorter than average arms today, which, makes sense when you're talking about guys who can't make plays at the point. I don't see it with Barron. So, yeah, he has shorter arms, but what makes me feel better about it is when I throw on the tape, I don't see a guy that looks like he has short arms. You know,
I don't either.
You know what I mean? So it only matters to me if it's an issue on tape too. So like we talk about this with offensive tackles.
I said to
right?
you yesterday, I think he has longer arms based off of the tape
Exactly.
I studied. Yeah.
Right. So we talk about the offensive tackles. Oh, he's got sub 34-inch arms. Okay, that's a concern. Now throw on the tape. Is a Y9's coming off the edge. It's a great speed rusher. How does he handle it? Is he okay? Okay, then let's put it to bed. It doesn't matter that he doesn't have 34-inch arms. It's a little bit of a concern. You wish that he did. It's not as big of a deal as it might be for another player. And that's kind of how I felt about Barron. Yeah, I don't like the sub 30-inch arms. That's alarming to me. But throw on the tape, and he makes plays on the ball.
Yeah. And I don't have to go through it again. I gave the entire scouting report just a couple days ago. If you want to go back and listen to it all, it's on the first day of the combine coverage. It was 2 nights ago. I love him. I love the football player. I love the instincts. There's a handful of guys every year. I don't even have to ask scouts or general managers, what's the character? I don't have to call college coaches. Like 95% of the class, like you have to. You do a quick Google search, make sure there's no arrests or suspensions or anything like that. I know Jahdae Barron has phenomenal football character.
He had one of the best quotes at the podium this week, talking about not getting caught up in the results and staying focused on the process, not worrying about getting beat, just consistently focusing on what he can do better as a corner. And I was like, man, if that is your mindset every single snap, you're going to be all right, man.
Yeah. And you can just tell by his attention to detail and all the little things he does and the technique work that you don't wake up with the technique work and with the instincts. Like that is drilled into you by hard work and by
and he tackles.
Absorbing coach. He tackles. He does all of it. So, like, yeah, I'm worried about it if he's not breaking up passes at the last second. I said that quite frankly, like I don't know that I've seen many guys that do a better job on the ball of detaching the wide receiver from the football, the way he does it the very last second. So, like, cross that concern off. And he's a really good tackler for his size. Like, he's a really sound,
tough
reliable tackler. So, putting up some of these numbers helps. Running a 4.39 helps. And quite honestly, it comes down to, yeah, I don't see on tape a guy who has elite top-end speed. And yeah, he was a 4.40, and the official came out as 4.39. It probably sounds a little better than it is, but at the end of the day, it's good speed. And so, like, that concern isn't like completely crossed off, but you go into a general manager, you sit in these meetings, and someone doesn't like him in that group, and by doesn't like him, I mean we're picking at 13. I can't draft a cornerback who runs a 4.52 with 29-inch arms, and I just can't stomach it. But now he runs a 4.39, and I've got a counter if I'm the guy banging on the table for him. And a lot of times that's what it comes down to. So also part of his workout was a 35-inch vertical jump, which is good. And the broad jump was 10.6, which was fifth best amongst all the cornerbacks. So not like an overly eventful day for Barron, and he didn't wind up doing the workouts, which I was surprised, the position workouts, because I thought he would thrive in that role. Very clearly was working on getting that number.
Right.
And when he got that number, he actually fell to his knees, said a prayer, got up and hugged
Stacey Dale.
Stacey Dale, the reporter, and gave her a bear hug. That's how important it was for him because he knows the only thing that's working against him are the measurables, and to be able to put a 3 behind that 4 point, it was important to him.
It's cool.
So,
it's cool
really
to watch.
cool. Really cool. All right, Muench.
Let's get to it.
Darian Porter.
You can't wait.
Darian Porter. Some guys, it doesn't happen overnight for some guys. Some guys, like you are playing a position and it's not working. You got to make a transition. Whether it's in the program, whether it's you're struggling at that spot. Not often, but a handful of guys every year. I feel like we see this. It's like late in their career, they found their home, they found their scheme. Tyler Shough, we talked about, found his school, found his health, whatever it is. I love when guys go through the struggle and have to grind it out, and nobody knows their name, nobody knows about them. They're not contributing a ton, even though they're working their ass off to try to contribute, and then all of a sudden it clicks. And for Porter, it clicked over the last couple of years, and then this year he had a breakout year. If you don't know Darian Porter, he's a tall, long cornerback who spent a lot of time early in his career, first couple of years, wide receiver, transitioned over to corner, had some struggles, had some ups and downs, but finally broke into the starting role full-time and had an awesome breakout season this past year. Iowa State guy. These Iowa State guys are fast and can ball, like perimeter guys.
Yeah, something's going on at Ames.
I love it. So Darian Porter. Let's throw this graphic up, Tuck, okay? Reek Woolen, remember him? He was a fifth-round pick of the Seahawks. It was a travesty that he fell to the fifth round, but his tape was horrible. His tape at a small school level was just not good. So I get why he fell. I thought he would be closer to third round than fifth. That was shocking to me. That he still was on the board 10 picks in to when the Seahawks took him in that fifth round, okay? And I'm not saying this is an identical matchup, but my point is this, and I don't think Savon Revel is that far off of this situation, even though the measurables aren't as close as they are with Porter. Both of these guys, in Revel and Porter, had an emergence late in their career, but are still kind of raw, still need work. And with Woolen, he played corner, but he just hadn't gotten the technique work. He was long and lean. You were worried, can he make that transition from a small school to the NFL? Well, with Porter, it's similar. It's not the small school issue. He just hasn't played a ton of ball there, and it's just 1 year. But look at these numbers, right? Reek Woolen, 6'4", Porter 6'3". Woolen 205, Porter's 195. I'm admitting it's not a perfect comp, but you see the tall, well-built corners. 33 and 3/8 versus 33 and an eighth for the arm length, which is massive. I've always told you, no combination of measurables are more important at any position than arm length and 40-yard dash at cornerback. And those arm lengths, 33-plus inch arms, are phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
It's like God blessed you with something. So go be a corner. That's what you should do. If your arms are longer than 33 inches and you're not a big guy like Muench, go be a corner. And then let's look at the 40-yard dashes. I mean, it was ridiculous what Woolen ran. Can you believe he fell to the fifth?
No.
I had to look it back up today. He ran a 4.26 and had a 42-inch vertical.
We had a second-round grade on him or a third-round grade?
Yeah, second. We had a second, thought he could fall to the third. 4.26 and 42-inch vertical. Well, Porter, just like not far off.
Right.
4.30 and had a third, what was his 36.5-inch vertical? Am I reading that right? No, more higher. No, 40. He had a 40, right? 39.5.
Thank you, Tucker.
Speak up, Tucker. We want you on the show. So yeah, 39. I wrote down 39.5. Okay. So like those measurable from the arm length to the speed to the vertical jump are somewhat similar, and the fact that they're both raw coming out, I think Porter's got so much to work with, and a former wide receiver with ball skills.
Yeah, and you were intrigued by the tape, right? You already came into it thinking you saw again. How does it translate to the tape? And you threw on the tape and you said, "This kid, man, there's flashes. He's got some upside." The other thing I really like about him is he's going to be an outstanding special teams player right out the gate.
Yes.
He's going to start making plays on special teams right away.
So this cornerback class gets more interesting.
Can I talk about another road runner like Tariq Woolen?
Yeah, you can in 1 second, but let me just put a bow on it real quick.
I'm going to get to my road runners, UTSA.
All right, go ahead.
All right, Zaw Frazier.
Yep.
And I want you to remember what you just said. What's the most important things about corner?
Length and 40 time.
Zaw Frazier, 32 and 7/8 inch arms.
Okay.
4.36 40.
Yes.
So that's what we're talking about, right? He's 6'0", He's 186 pounds. This is a good-looking kid, right? He's got smaller hands. You saw it a little bit today on the on-field workout. There was a couple times where he mishandled the ball. But he broke the UTSA single-season record for interceptions last year with 6. And when you watch the way he plays the ball on tape, the thing I love about him is he's always hunting. He's tracking the quarterback. He will come off his receiver to go and make a play on the football. He's a guy, I'm intrigued by the tape. There's some things he's got to clean up. Panik's a little bit late, gets a little bit grabby. But when you're talking about a guy with tools,
yes,
he's a guy to turn it. He's someone who could be a mid-round pick that you hit a lottery ticket on.
Yeah, it's interesting because we know that Hunter's coming off the board early. We know that Jade's coming off the board shortly after that. We know that Will Johnson's going to be right there in that mix. Like all should be off the board in the top 15 or so picks, right? Then we got that second group. We talked about Benjamin Morrison from Notre Dame, A.Z. Thomas from Florida State, who was limited today but looked really good in his drills. We got Revel from East Carolina, Savone, who didn't work out because of the ACL. So those are kind of your top 6, and now Maxwell Hairston kind of
right there
challenges, starts to challenge. So now we get 7 corners we feel good about. Porter, for a lot of people, wasn't in the mix, but I've got him written down right here, number 8 for me.
Those numbers, he's going to...
That's going to ascend. So now this cornerback class, because of a couple of these workouts, gets really interesting. And is Porter... Porter's a day 2 guy. I'm not ready to say he's a round 2 guy, but he's a day 2 guy that's interesting. Quincy Riley ran a 4.48, right? Great ball skills, confidence when the ball's in the air. Like he's a really good player out of Louisville. He's in that mix as well. I think those are kind of the 9 guys, right?
Yeah.
And Hairston and Porter elevated themselves within that 9, okay? Then after that, we got a whole slew of players who are going to be either late day 2, early day 3. And Za Frazier is one of those guys that I keep hearing from scouts. Like, watch, he could come on Friday night, meaning the second day of the draft, meaning somewhere late 3rd round. But maybe it's early 4th. But the bottom line is we've got some more intriguing guys. Let me give you a few more names that had really good days, okay? We got Robert Longerbeam. Rutgers. 5'11", 175 pounds. So average height but lean. Average arms, 31.5. But he ran a 4.39 today.
Guys are flying.
And he had an 11.2 broad jump, the best in the entire class, okay? And a 36.5-inch vertical, which I think was tied for like 5th or 6th or whatever.
What's a broad jump tell you? Get into that a little bit maybe.
The ability, honestly, lower body strength and explosion. And it's only important because you know that this guy, A, it can help for an undersized guy with his tackling ability to vault. B, going up contested catches as a lean, slender guy, can he explode up through those sorts of things?
Right.
And typically it leads to good speed, quite honestly.
Right.
I mean, that's the indicator is if you've got a good vertical and or broad jump, you know there's explosion and power in the lower body.
Yeah, I think it's just good to keep in mind these tests are for specific reasons. They are things that translate to the field.
So I thought Longerbeam had a really good day as a day 3 prospect. Caleb Ransaw.
Big day, Tulane, yeah.
Yeah, really big day.
This guy didn't put up big numbers. He didn't have the statistical production wasn't great at Tulane.
Yeah.
But wow, he showed out today.
But they're numbers that make you want to go back and be like, all right, I gotta brush up. I gotta figure out where this guy belongs, and at a position that is dictated in a lot of circumstances of like there are cans and cannots. There are guys that can and cannot, and the easiest way to get the exclusion list is to have really bad numbers.
Right.
You know.
Don't be a cannot.
and you can get excluded quickly, and then there are ways to catch eyes and be like. Now, because remember, now the NFL coaches, the DB coaches, the coordinators are getting involved, and they're like, "Well, we can work with him. If you've got one thing that we really like, we can work with him." So a Caleb Ransaw comes out, and not the greatest tape in the world, late round prospect we're talking about, right? Well, now he's like, now there's an argument. Okay, hey, tell my scout to go back and watch. Let's do a cross check. Let's see now with this in mind from a different lens. Let's see. He runs a 4.33. He has a 40-inch vertical jump.
I think that was tops for the corners.
Yeah, I think it might have been.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do we have the vertical jumps for the cornerbacks? I'm not gonna. Well, actually, I've got it here. But my point being that Ransaw was up there. When you patch together a vertical jump of 40 and a 4.33, that like 5'11", about 5'11 and a half, 197 pounds. So like. He's tightly packed, well put together, and slightly below average to average height for the cornerback position. So there's stuff to work with there.
Right, yeah.
Shorter arms, though. Last guy, there's no way I was going to get through this cornerback podcast without mentioning my boy from Western Kentucky, Upton Stout. Upton Stout, appropriately named, not really stout, but like shorter frame. I'm just pulling for this guy. I think he's one of the best pure cover guys in terms of glue, like hip pocket guy.
Yeah.
He's got nothing else to offer measurable wise. 30-inch arms, miserable. pissed about it. 5'8.5", miserable, pissed about
The
it.
reactions in the room.
181, not happy. But then he comes out and what I see on tape, these athletic traits, the ability to change direction, the speed to keep up, runs a 4.44, 37.5-inch vertical, second best among all the cornerbacks. A 10.8 broad jump, fourth best among all the cornerbacks. So yeah, I might be small. What about it? Like I can run with just about anyone. I've got explosion in my lower body. I can turn it like. I think Upton Stout is going to be a steal. He's going to watch that size. He's going to be available in that 4th, 5th round range. And everyone's going to be like, yeah, he's going to be like a number 5 corner, and maybe he'll play special team. He's going to wind up being a number 3 starter in the NFL.
You hate seeing that arm length, and you hate some of those numbers, but there are some smart GMs out there right now who are psyched because they're saying to themselves, good, man. I knew that he wasn't going to have great numbers. I didn't even want him to, I want him to fall to us. I know how good he is on tape, and if I can get him in the 4th or 5th round, we have an absolute home run. There are guys who are probably pretty happy that he didn't have a monster workout.
Always trade back is following along in the chat. He had a good line. I was going to ask you guys yesterday if the turf was slower this year. Today gave me the answer. Yeah, I mean, the turf isn't slower. It's just a lot of the top guys aren't working out, and it's a problem, and it's frustrating.
We're walking this line. I'm not wanting to whine about it, but it's tough.
Yeah, I mean, every single position. We talked about all the guys last night. Travis Hunter doesn't work out. Will Johnson doesn't work out. Benjamin Morrison has an injury, so he gets a pass. Savone Revel gets a pass. At the safety position, the top 2 guys did work out.
They did.
They did work out. Xavier Watts did not, the Notre Dame safety. You also, here's the other part. There's a hell of a lot of Notre Dame, Ohio State, Penn State, Texas dudes, right? Mm-hmm. Who had to play 15, 16 games this year, and their season didn't end like almost a month later several weeks later than what we're used to seeing.
Yeah, guys have been dropping 14, 15 pounds training to run their fastest 40.
So guys who are rewarded for winning are put in this bind of like, well, I didn't have a month. I didn't have 2 months to go.
Right.
Because a lot of these guys, if you're just going to a bowl game and you're preparing for the NFL draft, you're like, thank you very much. I'm out, write a letter, sitting on social media, and I'm going to Florida, California, Arizona to train.
With
Texas,
world-class trainers, world-class
dietitians. So now I've got December, January, right? Mm-hmm. And February. 3 months.
Yeah.
Now these other guys, they won a national championship. They're in the championship game. They're looking at by the time that the dust settles, it's February 1, and here we are on today March 1st or yesterday. I don't know. Who cares? Tomorrow's March 1st. I mean, I don't know what day it is. I know it's day 2 of workouts at the Combine, and I know we're in an awesome hotel, and I'm pumped about it, and I love our new set. But yeah, I understand why those guys don't wind up working out. But yeah, every single position. But what's happened is it's created this opportunity. And so now you have the NFL Network, you got the ESPN sets, you got our show, you got a bunch of other shows, you got all the reporters, you got reporters fighting in Starbucks. You got an average height of 5'8.5", and like 170 pounds having a shouting match in Starbucks and calling NFL security. You got all these people here giving focus on this event. So like, yeah. Do you think if Will Johnson and Travis Hunter worked out, do you think if those 2 guys worked out that we would be focusing this much on Maxwell Hairston? He would, you know what I mean?
Right.
So it's a great opportunity. So I love that for these guys.
It's good.
Safety position. Again, there were some guys. Xavier Watts, Notre Dame didn't work out. Kevin Winston Jr., the partially torn ACL from Penn State, did not participate. He missed the majority of the season last year.
I liked his tape last year.
Excuse me. A couple other guys, though, took advantage. Really took advantage. I was just like I'm pulling for Upton Stout and and Darian Porter for different reasons. I'm pulling for Billy Bowman.
I was hoping you were going to go with him first.
I absolutely love Billy Bowman's tape.
I know.
It's kind of the same thing as Jahdae Barron, not quite to that level is what it is. It's a guy who doesn't have the ideal measurables, worse than Jahdae Barron's, okay? But his tape, you can see it. Talking to people inside that Oklahoma program, about how he has a color-coded notepad that he walks around
Right.
with. That he's obsessive with preparation, the detail, attention to detail. Like, these are things that translate, and we see it all the time. That's why you got to get to know the person and what drives them. And it's what, like, talking to so many different coaches. I think it was Jason Garrett had the great line, like, the hardest part is trying to find players who, like, need and love football, but also are coachable.
Right.
Like, absolutely need it and love it, but when you need it and love it, unfortunately, sometimes it's because of circumstances, because life was hard, and so and so there's this like delicate balance. This dude just needs and loves football for his own personal reasons. You see it on the tape, and so when he comes out at 5'9" and 7/8 inches, just under 5'10", which is not a good height, and 192 pounds, he's well packed. But it's just not the frame you're looking for in your NFL safety these days. You want Nick Emmanwori, or worst case, I'll take Malachi Starks, 6'1", 197 pounds. And the arm length, man, it's killing me.
Yeah.
Two of my favorite players in this draft have sub 29-inch arm length.
Yeah.
With Jahdae Barron. Was Jahdae 20? I don't
Not
want
sub 29.
Sorry, sub 30.
Yes.
Jahdae Barron was 29 and change. Bowman was 28 and a half. But then he works out and he has a really good day.
Yeah.
I thought his on-field workouts were awesome. He was great with the ball skills, going through the gauntlet I saw, great quickness, catching the ball. And for him, I was worried he's also going to match the shorter arms and the lack of height with speed that was just pedestrian. He ran a 4.4 240. I thought that was awesome.
Since the season has ended, if you were to talk about the names you've heard the most, I think it's Bowman in a runaway. If you were in Mobile, Alabama, and you're just walking around and you're hearing people whispering about Bowman, I don't think people, like, he's not going to test well. I don't think people realize how good this player is. When you go and watch him on tape, this guy's a dog. He is such a good football player. And it's over and over and over again in conversations I hear that kid's name come up.
Who else stood up for you, the safeties?
Jonas Sanker from Virginia. I mean, he's all ACC the last 2 years. He has over 200 tackles the last 2 years. 6'3", 206, 32 and a quarter inch arms, big frame. This guy, he wants to come up and hit you in the mouth. He is a physical run defender. The concern I had was how well can he hold up in coverage? Well, he ran a 4.48 today. That makes me feel a lot better about that situation. He had a 36.5-inch vertical, a 10'8" broad. He had an outstanding day in terms of the testing. I thought it was a little inconsistent on the field, but not bad overall. I thought it was good. You're looking at a mid-round safety there that I think can come in and be a number 3 guy for you and maybe develop into a starter.
Yeah, I thought there were a handful of guys that really had good days.
Yeah.
And they're all probably, I don't know, mid-round. Let's call them mid-round. Because
right.
It could be third, late third. It could be fourth. It could be fifth, sixth. But, like, Marquise Siegel from Kansas State, 5'11", almost a half, almost 200 pounds, a little shorter arms, 30 and 3/4. But he ran the fastest 40 of any cornerback, any safety here, 4.37. Had the fourth best vertical jump, 38. Looked good in his movement skills. I don't know.
North Dakota State transfer, so you know he's tough.
Yeah, there you go. And Kansas State, he's probably tough too.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Those are good programs, man.
So some of these guys, we know exactly who they are, and we want some measurables that are going to match up. Like, I've got to go back and watch a lot more. Like, I breeze. Like, we call it newsreel them. Like,
right.
I'm newsreeling a lot of these guys, like 100 of these guys, compared to the first 150, 200 guys that I know. Siegel, I've got to go do more tape on. I'm excited now to see, because there's something behind it. R.J. Mickens, Clemson, really good day. 6 foot, 199 pounds, 32.5-inch arms. He had the second best vertical jump, 41.5-inch vertical.
That's okay.
Ran a 4.49. I thought he was really good in the gauntlet drill, catching the ball. Mm-hmm. So he's another player from Clemson that helped himself. Andrew Makuba, I should have.
His old running mate.
Yes, from Clemson.
Together,
Great call. Drew Makuba had a good day. I just like him. He plays his ass off. He's instinctive. He's physical. He ran a 4.45. Didn't do anything else, but to run a 4.45, that's a good number.
Especially because he's a little undersized. But again, a player on tape, when you watch him on tape, he's tough. He will come up and hit you.
Yeah.
Smart, plays the ball well. He had I forget 4 or 5 interceptions this year.
I'm trying to get my face ID. I got to figure out these Go ahead, have fun with that. I'm looking down at you in the live chat. I see you. Yeah, last night he was making fun of me because I didn't know how to get into my cell phone and I had my alarm go off. Tonight it's Face ID. But I'm trying to get these updated tight end workouts because they were still working out when we came on.
Right.
But I do want to mention one last safety.
Okay.
Keaton Crawford, 5'10 and a half, 202 pounds, right? Mm-hmm. And you look at him. Let me just pull. Yeah, the Nevada safety. 31-inch arms. I wanted to double check. 31-inch arms. So right around average. Okay. So size like a little shorter than ideal, but tightly packed. Okay, arms. Listen to these numbers across the board. Sawed off, explosive traits. Liked how he moved in his workouts. I had to go back and look at my notes. Not a great tackler, but really good in coverage. Really good in the slot in coverage. Broke out this past year. You told me I had just done the tape. I hadn't done the background. You can get to his background in a second. But listen to these numbers for Crawford. Third fastest 40-yard dash among all the safeties at 4.41. Second best vertical jump, 41 and a half. And then a third best broad jump, 10.8. It's pretty good, man. That makes that's like, again, GM's like, hey, let's go back. Let's do more work on this guy. What do we have?
Yeah. So he's a Texas transfer. He was there for 4 years. Special teams standout. It's like 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon right now. I mean, you got guys you got Makuba going from Clemson to Texas. So all of a sudden you got Crawford going from Texas to Nevada. But he gets on the field and he makes the most of it. He has a breakout year. And what I like about him, again, this stuff, when you're getting into these guys who are these middle round guys, we're talking about third to fifth, Crawford was a special teams standout at Texas. You know you're getting a special teams player. We're looking at a player now. This guy's got some tools.
Yes.
And if we give him a little time, he's going to develop. And not only can we can afford to give him some time, because I know he's going to go out and he's going to run downfield and make plays on special teams.
Yeah, I just thought it was a fun group overall.
Yeah.
I think the safeties
Great
did better
day.
than expected. I think the cornerbacks that did work out had great nights. And I think anytime you have a Hairston and Emmanwori put on the shows that they put on, and that Emmanwori workout was legendary, absolutely legendary. But now for the stinks and it sucks and it stinks and it sucks portion of the show. The tight ends, man. Like, I get it. Colston Loveland, you got to pass shoulder surgery in January. Like, of course. Elijah Arroyo competed, the Miami tight end, competed in the Senior Bowl, got a little nicked, nothing major, playing it safe, pass. March 24th, we'll see you in Miami. I think we should talk to Spotify and the Ringer, man. I'm kind of feeling like a cam. I'm getting a little. I used to do like 5-6 pro days a year, and I would always love like, oh, we got a USC quarterback. That's too bad.
No.
I'll be out there 5 days. We got I can't remember a Miami quarterback. I don't think we've had a Miami quarterback in my pro day circuit.
No.
I mean, South Beach wouldn't be bad for a couple
Bridgewater?
days. March 20. My birthday's the
he's a Louisville,
22nd.
Miami, yeah.
My birthday's the 22nd. We
Yeah.
could go celebrate. All right. Anyway, Tyler Warren doesn't work out. Own choice. Again, late in the season, got it. And doesn't need to. I got that too. But you get excited about this group because we're talking about Warren and Loveland being the highest 2 drafted tight ends dating back to like the 80s.
Run.
Right? We're talking about Mason Taylor, who was expected to work out. I'm shocked by this. Because what did I say about Mason Taylor? You know exactly what you're getting. Tonight, we did not know what we were getting.
He's supposed to run well.
He's supposed to run well.
Yeah.
He showed. I should mention though, like there's some really encouraging measurables. Like he was over 6'5", 251 pounds. Colston Loveland, talk about his size. Is it kind of an angular guy, like literally 6'5", I knew he was tall. I didn't quite know he was that tall. He's almost 6'6", 248 pounds.
Good number
to add
for
some
him.
bulk. Yeah, good number for him. Tyler Warren, as expected, 6'5" and a half. But I didn't think Loveland was taller than Warren.
Yeah.
For whatever it matters. But 256. So, like, there's excitement building, and these guys are working out before any of the other offensive positions. Like, all right, we get the tight ends on Friday night. Let's go. I booked a room down here for it. Sit and watch. We got a fireplace in the back. We got all our best friends. Let's watch the tight ends work out. Nope. So no workout from Warren, no workout from Loveland. Going to be 2 top 15 picks, could be top 10 picks. I'm not joking. No workout from Mason Taylor, no workout from Elijah Arroyo. And then I come back in the room, mention the first run that I see is a 40-yard dash for Gunnar Hellman. I love you, Gunnar. I absolutely love you as a player. I feel like I was the first guy on him. I started sending out texts like in September. I was like, this guy can play. I don't care what he runs. I don't care what his measurables are. But then we saw him. We're going for the laugh here. This is not an indictment on Gunnar Helm. He's a great football player.
Much better second rep than the first one, by the way.
Well, the first rep, he jumped out of the gate, and they whistled him. Who's our guy, the starter from Pittsburgh?
Mark Gorzak?
Mark Gorzak, legend. One of my favorites in the world. Like, he literally has gotten me through some dark Indianapolis days. Just his communication, how like
Steady.
the passion that he has for what he's doing, and trying to help out all the young men as they try to get the best number they can on the 40. But Mark blows the whistle, brings him back. He got 2 steps out, and that third step, I literally thought we saw like an ACL, like some kind of tear.
It was very awkward.
You said it looked like.
I said it looked like a horse broke its leg.
Like, we were gonna take him out and shoot him. Like, there was this one. If you go back and watch,
I did
there's
not
one movement,
think this was for
and it was
public
totally
consumption.
fine. If you say it to me, you know it is. But let's pull up the.
I love Gunnar Helm, by the way. I love his tape.
I swear to you, I love Gunnar Helm, and I think he's going to still wind up being a 3rd-round pick and going to wind up being a steal.
A Texas player who, one of those guys who had a condensed schedule too, worth mentioning.
No question. Helm's our guy. It's just tonight we got. It's like any of your good friends. You get to needle him a little bit. Well, we're not good friends with him. We're going to needle him anyway, but we do like him as a prospect. He wound up with a 4.84, which wasn't horrible compared to some of these other tight ends, but it's not good.
I think the first rep was 4.93 or something like that.
It was a 4.93 was his first rep, exactly.
Doesn't reflect what you see on tape.
And he almost broke his hoof. But it's not a good workout, man. So what my point is, we're not like these. I'm listing off my top tight ends: Warren not working out, Loveland not working out, Taylor not working out, Arroyo not working out, Gunnar Helm. Let's see what he's got. Runs a 4.84 was his best, and he had a 30-inch vertical. I think it was that was the worst of all the tight ends. So like that's concerning. Yep. Right behind him, you've got Harold Fannin Jr. So now that's opened up the.
A little disappointing there.
Not great, but it wasn't like. Listen, bud, these times aren't that great. And I'm not going to bore everyone, but I'm seeing a lot of 4.7s and 4.8s. There's only one 4.6. There's a 4.63 and a 4.65. You're not going to be necessarily blown away by who the 4.63 was, but I'll give you the 4.65 in a minute. And it was very surprising to me. I didn't know we had this kind of ability. Terrence Ferguson. So Harold Fannin and Ferguson and Helm are all kind of in a cluster. Mm-hmm. We talk about like these buckets, clusters, tiers, whatever you want to say. They're in that day 2, somewhere between pick 60 and 100, okay? And Helm hurt his cause. Let's just call it what it is. When you're 6'5" and you're 241 pounds, you can't run a 4.84 and have a 30-inch vertical and it not affect
correct
what it is. We didn't think he was going to run great. We didn't think he was going to jump great, but that's a little bit concerning when you talk about traits. Opens the door for Fannin, opens the door for Ferguson. Fannin runs a 4.72, I believe was 4.71 was the official. Had a 34-inch vertical, which is pretty good compared to this group, but not like earth-shattering, and 9.10 broad. I really like his tape. But I actually got done watching Warren, Loveland, Taylor, and Arroyo, and I popped in his tape next. And there's just a clear difference.
Yeah.
But I really like his tape. He's going to be a really good pass-catching tight end. And he blocks okay. But the player who helped himself the most at tight end, and we'll get out of here, and before we get you to the Tyler Shough
I might have another guy, but go ahead.
The player who helped himself the most, and then there is a sleeper here, Terrence Ferguson, who we said at the Senior Bowl, like, just love this guy. Don't know how well he's going to run, but he does the simple things. He makes them look easy. He makes the easy things look easy. He makes the somewhat complicated things look pretty easy too. Finding soft spots in zone, getting open, just finding windows for his quarterback, catches everything. He ran a 4.63 today, fastest of all the tight ends, man. He had a 39-inch vertical. So now you're stacking traits, similar body types. They're basically identical. One's 6'5" in Helm, the other's 6'5'3", Ferguson, a little taller. Ferguson's 6 pounds heavier. Ferguson's slightly longer arms. But he puts out a 4.63 and a 39-inch vertical compared to Helm with the 4.84 and the 30-inch vertical. 39 versus 30, we're talking almost 10 inches.
Yeah.
There's a difference in physical traits there. Ferguson coming up the board.
Yeah.
Truly. And also a 10-2 broad, which was third best. So in those three results, he was in the top three, and he was third in broad jump and best in the vertical and the 40. Who else you got, man?
Keep an eye on my guy, Jalen Conyers from Texas Tech.
Okay.
260 pounds. 260 pounds, and he ran a 4.74 with a 35.5-inch vertical and a 10-1 broad. He's a guy, the flashes on tape, his ability to produce after the catch. I'm telling you, he's a guy that's one of those guys that's going to be another mid-round player who is one of my favorite sleepers in this draft.
It's March 1st tomorrow. I was just informed by Tucker, our wonderful producer. And I'm perfectly fine with admitting I have not watched Joshua Simon's tape yet in South Carolina. Okay? Yep. I have not. But I'm going to go back and watch it. I'm not racing back to watch it like I told you, some of the guys in the interior defensive line and the edges yesterday. But I'm going to get back and I'm going to watch Simon in the next week. Because the South Carolina tight end that I just didn't know a ton about and was probably one of the final 15, 20, 30 players of the 333, I think, combine invites. Let's say he was one of the 50 that I didn't know if he was going to be here or expect to be here. He checked in at 6'041". He's only 239 pounds. So he's undersized. But he's got long arms, almost 34 inches. Big hands, over 10-inch hands. He had the second fastest 40-yard dash among all the tight ends at 4.65. Second best broad jump, second best vertical jump.
Yeah. He flashes on tape. He shows up on tape too.
Tell me about him.
He's 239 pounds. He's a better receiver.
Yeah.
But he's a guy who's on tape has the speed to make plays down the seam, find the pockets and cover two looks. He's a good player, man.
Wasn't Makuba a corner? Frank Tursic was asking at Clemson. No, he was a safety.
Yep.
Shopkey said he didn't call security. I'm not sure what that means. And then he's talking about a brace.
I think he's standing up for his boy Rappaport that he didn't call security.
Oh, that's right. He didn't.
Erroneous.
Shopkey, you're all over it tonight. I like you, man.
Standing up for his guy.
Yes. And then he wrote the barista did. Okay. Shopkey, breaking news here.
Do we have to issue an official retraction or what? How's that work?
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about ludicrous stuff here. Absolutely ludicrous. We appreciate it. We had almost 500 messages. Oh, no, these are the top messages, so I don't even know how that works. Terry McGovern doesn't like Gunnar Helm's tape. Oof. Just Helm getting outrun by Jordan Davis is rough. Always trade back. All right. We appreciate you being here, man. We really do.
I love our listeners.
Ladies and gentlemen who have joined our chat and have watched us on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button if you're watching. Like we appreciate it. We're trying to build this thing up. This is a big week for us. Please tell friends, pass the word on. Anything you can do to help, we appreciate it. I don't want to oversell it and disappoint people. I'm just telling you, if you like football, honest to God, if you just are interested in interesting people and you want to hear about a great story and someone who's trying to prove to the world that he belongs here, please check out this interview. Okay? If you're watching on YouTube right now, just go to the homepage. When the show's over, it's going to be over for you. If we're watching live, we appreciate it. Just go to the homepage. It's up now. It went up at 9 o'clock Eastern time. It's 9:12 Eastern time right now. Please go check it out. Anyone else? Spotify, anyone else YouTube, if you're anywhere else you get your podcasts. Just the second we say goodbye, this live show will turn into our interview from earlier today. It's not like a week ago. This was this morning. Tyler Shough took time out of his schedule and came over and wanted to talk to us. And we can't tell him how much we appreciate it because it was fascinating, and I hope you enjoy it as much as we did. But again, thank you all for being here. Today was day 2 of the workouts. Tomorrow, massive.
Is it a big day?
Massive. Quarterbacks, wide receivers, right?
Yeah.
Running backs. And it's the first time in a long time that the running back class is going to outshine these quarterbacks. But I can't wait to watch Tyler Shough throw. I can't wait to watch Jackson Dart throw. I can't wait to see some of these wide receivers that wind up actually working out. We're going to see some big numbers, I'm hearing. Jalen Noel. I like my small guys this year, man. I'm just pulling for the underdog. There's a lot of really interesting players. We're going to be back here tomorrow night. Is it 8 o'clock, folks? Are we doing 8? 8 p.m. Eastern. 8 p.m. Eastern, right back in the studio, which is in the hotel, which means we can go out and get something to eat because I'm hungry.
Yeah.
But here we go. Tyler Shough interview is coming up right now. We appreciate it. We'll see you tomorrow, 8 p.m. on Saturday after the biggest day of workouts here in the 2025 NFL Combine. Plus and present in select states. For Kansas, in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino. Or 18 plus and present in D.C. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 1-800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York.